Hey everyone, welcome back to Portable Entrepreneur. I am so excited to talk to you today because this is a topic that I love to talk about. I could talk about for days because I've seen firsthand the opportunities that exist here and what is really possible. And that is all that I want to share with you today. And this is all about using websites to build your financial freedom. And this is an opportunity I believe just has not been discussed enough. I mean, we're talking about websites that pay for your lifestyle. They pay your mortgage. They pay for your car, for your family vacations. They allow you to increase your investments or to pad your savings accounts. I mean, these sites are not only a great way to build up your income, but they are a great way to build up your wealth. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to break this down based on where you are at right now and really help to build this up. And to do this, I really want to break this down using some actual numbers so you can visualize exactly how this is going to work in your world. So let's jump on over to the computer and I'm going to show you those numbers. All right, here we are. It's time to look at these numbers. So what we're going to do here is we're going to walk through some different scenarios so I can give you a visual of how this actually goes and how to be able to apply this to your own life where you're at right now. So I'm sure you recognize this. This is a basic budget here. So in the first scenario, we have a salary coming in. This could either be from your 9-to-5 job or you own your own business, bringing in a full-time income. So you have $5,500 a month. And as we scroll down, we will take a look at all of our expenses from our car expense, from our mortgage or rent, all of our utilities, insurances, gym memberships, and so on. So all of those expenses come to a total of $5,490 per month, which leaves us with a whopping $10 per month left over. So not too much to go off of. Now, this isn't a budgeting video, so I'm not going to go all into that, but let's look at another scenario here. So in scenario number 2, you have now decided this is what I'm going to do. I am going to create a web asset for myself. I'm going to build out my own website that will begin generating revenue and become an income producing asset. So that is exactly what you do. And after not too long, this website starts bringing in $300 per month for you. So you're very excited. You've been able to build this up and start bringing in some additional revenue. So now your total monthly income comes to $5,800 per month, which now means you have $310 left over for every month. So it's a start. And it definitely, if you are that close, well, that's going to feel pretty good to have. So now you say, well, I like the way this is going. So let me really step things up here. I'm not only going to work to continue to build this asset that I have to grow its revenue, I think I'm ready to start to acquire a website asset. And so that's what you go do. You buy a website asset that already produces monthly revenue for you. So now you have purchased another website, and this website now brings you from day one, $850 per month. So now this is a website that you not only have purchased knowing that you're going to immediately start cash flowing, you're going to generate this monthly revenue, but you have seen some opportunities that you know that are going to allow you to apply some tweaks in order to increase the revenue further. So that is your game plan. But in the meantime, this scenario here is now bringing you in $6,800 per month between your web assets and your salary. So now this means you have $1,310 of leftover income every single month. So, you know, now you can say, well, now I have $1,300. So that pays for more than half of the mortgage, or that pays for all of my car expenses and some of my grocery bills. So you see, now that is starting to pay for your expenses. So now things are continuing to go up. And you say, okay, let's move this up. So now this brings us to scenario number 4. And in this scenario, we are continuing to maintain our salary at $5,500 per month. But now we have continued to work on our web asset and has gone from $300 to $450 to now $600 per month. And we have our second website asset that we acquired, and we haven't had too much time with it, but we've started to apply some of the tweaks that we saw, and we have increased the revenue from $850 to $1,000 per month. So now we see, well, this is going really well. I'm starting to learn more about how to be able to grow these, about how to look at these websites and see how to apply a growth strategy here. So I'm going to go acquire a larger site. And this time, this new web asset is bringing in $2,550 per month. This brings your grand total for the month to $9,650 per month, or taking a look down here, we now have an extra $4,160 per month. That is a full-time income. So you now have what is left over is a full-time income plus your salary that you have coming in. So it's like having two full-time incomes coming in. So this is where you have to decide what your financial freedom looks like. Do you want that now? Do you want that later? You have to make these decisions, and however you decide you want your life to look is what you can do with these numbers. So a couple of examples here. Let's say you want to just start having cash flow. You want to have these website assets producing income for you and help to alleviate some of these expenses and the stress that goes along with it. So you say, okay, what I'm going to do now is I have acquired a website asset that now is going to pay for my mortgage and all of my utilities. I now have this website asset here that now pays for my car and all of the expenses. And I have this other website that is now paying for all the groceries plus some. So this is how we are looking at what are my biggest expenses and how am I producing website assets that are going to pay for this. So this is, let me give you one more scenario and then I'll tell you what I like to do. Another scenario here is being able to look at things that you want to either do or to have. Let's say you really want to go out and you want to get a new fancy car that you really have had your eye on. Or let's say you really want to go on this amazing once in a lifetime opportunity trip. So instead of just dipping into savings or pulling that money from somewhere else or going into debt for that, being able to say, well, how can I create or acquire a web asset that is now going to pay for that expense that I want? So this is really where people are able to acquire things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to because they know that they have now created or purchased the asset that is going to take care of the expense for them, but they still have their salary that covers everything else through the month. So that is an option. Now, for me, what I like to do with these is for my financial freedom, I want to be able to build up these website assets. This gives you two options here. One, you can always continue with the cash flow. You are generating that cash flow month after month. The other option is that you can build up these assets and then you can not only collect all the revenue month to month, but you are also able to sell the website for far more than you purchased it for because you have built up the value of that site and the revenue that it's been coming in over time. So that allows you to be able to cash out for a lump sum, whether that's your plan or for some reason a site just no longer fits within your particular portfolio. Ideally, what you can do is take your website asset, all the revenue that is coming in from that, and pour that back in to those same sites. So let's say, for instance, with scenario number 2, we were looking at $300 of revenue coming in. Now that we have that $300 of revenue, how can I take that instead of putting that in my pocket? How can I reinvest that back into that same asset in order to expedite the revenue? So instead of doing everything myself or building up revenue really slowly over the next 6 months, 12 months, how can I expedite that process so that I start getting more cash flow faster, so that my site is more valuable much sooner than rather later, right? So that is one scenario. What we can also do is take that revenue and start stacking that and setting that to a side so that we can have our eye out looking for other assets to acquire that is going to immediately start cash flowing from day one. So what I really like to do is be able to build up this revenue and to continue to acquire, sometimes build if it makes sense. I prefer a little bit more the acquisitions, but it really depends on the portfolio, the ideas that we have coming in and what we think that we can really expand on and grow here. But being able to take that and just reinvest just makes your portfolio and the cash flow that you have coming in, the value of those assets that you own just grow so much faster. So that is really how you're able to take these website assets and create a financial freedom plan for yourself. And what that looks like for you is going to be different than the next person. But this is all, like what I talk about a lot here, all about intention. It is so easy to look at this and say, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Or see someone else doing it. And, oh yeah, I would love to have that. But, and then we start inserting all the excuses. But rather, if we just sit down and we look at this with intention, what's my budget? What are the biggest line items? And if I could just scratch those out, that would just reduce a whole lot of stress for me. And then be able to focus on that. How can I create an asset that covers that? So when you are intentional with what you want to do, it starts to make the rest of this process easier. Now, I will warn you, when you have the first site, that is going to be the slowest for you. What I love to do is to be able to start with that first site and then be able to either build or acquire another site that really helps expedite the growth of that first site. Usually it's acquiring that is going to help it grow the fastest, because then you have an audience that can come over there, that can subscribe to that site, that can purchase from that site. And then the audience here can come and be able to be a part of this other site. And then we add in a third site, and then we can start sharing the audience of it. So when you have semi-relevant sites that can somewhat cross over, they're never going to do the same thing or have the exact same audience. But when there is some crossover there, it can really, really help and to be able to grow your portfolio faster and faster. So just to warn you, the slow part is always at the beginning, just like your agency or anything else that you work on. But the more it grows and grows, just the faster and faster and faster, you're going to see this growth. So I would love to hear from you in the comments below if this is something that you're interested in. Is this ever something you've thought about doing? Are you excited about it? Do you want to do it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll get back to you down there. If you got any value out of this, please consider sharing this with someone else that you think may find value in this as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you see more videos just like this and don't miss out. I greatly, greatly appreciate you spending your time here with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.